Hello, dear friends. My name is Alexandra Shimanova, and I am the founder of Ukrainian Psychology Center, The Soul.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria. I'm the partner of Alexandra and co-founder of the center. And in this presentation, we would like to share with you who we are and what we do.
So meet our Ukrainian Psychology Center, The Soul. Our goal and mission is, and our truly belief is, that taking care of your soul is taking care of your future. By doing so, you are creating your own happiness and overall well-being of all the nation.
So a brief outline of this presentation, it is divided into several blocks, and we would like to share with you a little bit about our history, what we did before the war, and how our lives changed when the war started. And we also want to share with you our ideas and vision for the new program for Ukrainians, which will help them restore their mental health and build a beautiful future. So the mission of our center is actually to support the mental health and well-being of the nation. And also, we want to share Ukrainian culture and wisdom with the world. A huge part of our work now is, yes, to help Ukrainians cope and survive mentally, emotionally, spiritually with the war trauma and build resilience to be able to go through this horrific experience. And we also believe that psychotherapy should become an integral part of life of everyone. It should be as natural as actually going to the pharmacy or going to the groceries and going to the movie theater. We believe that everyone has a soul and that taking care of the soul is actually very important for every human being on this planet.
Our goals are to provide psychotherapy and counseling to individuals, couples, and groups. We are promoting education and raise awareness on various topics around mental health. We are developing authentic Ukrainian approaches to psychological practices deeply rooted in our history, arts, and culture. We are helping Ukrainians to maintain and restore their mental health amidst the war and support our people in post-traumatic growth. We are developing international partnership and collaborations in mental health area and implement best practices to make psychology interesting, accessible, and useful for all the people.
As the center, we work on two very important levels, and actually we do it simultaneously. We work on the micro level because we know that working with the individuals is important for the heart and soul of everyone. And we also understand that working with an individual, we're also impacting many because no man is an island. Everyone is always part of the community. We also work on the micro level because we want to build mentally and emotionally strong communities, and we want to have a beautiful future in our own country. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. And this is what Ukrainians are famous for.
Unfortunately, what is happening in Ukraine is famous too now, the war. And it is the thousands of individual tragedies and traumas. And it is also a collective trauma for us as a nation. And it means that the work of healing and restoration has to be done on all the levels, individual, family, communities, and society as the whole.
Our long-term strategic goal and vision is to create such a therapeutic program and support system that, yes, will impact people who need help right now, but also will impact the future generations. You can look at this boy who is grieving because he has lost his parents. And there are many boys and girls like that in Ukraine, unfortunately. And we understand that the future of this boy actually very much belongs very much depend on us as the community. Will he move into the future with anger, with rage, with desire for revenge, and to being in constant pain and loneliness and isolation? Or he will have a different kind of future, feeling the nurturing hands and support of the community?
Unfortunately, we didn't prevent those disastrous events that Ukraine is going through right now. We are copy-pasting the tragedy of the World War, the first and the second, and here you can see the famous picture of Pablo Picasso that he drawn after the bombing of a Spanish city named Guernica. And before this war in Ukraine, I truly believe that wars and conflicts are happening within the soul of every people. And if we are not healing this conflict, this war, this fightness within the individual soul, it will spread inside all over the world like it is going on right now. So our program is aimed to heal these traumas inside, to prevent it from flowing into the another generations even.
So a couple of words about the program. Alexandra, would you like to start?
This program we are currently working on is based on the following. Of course, we are leaning on the Ukrainian architectonics, history and cultures. We are using post-traumatic methods of growth theory and practice. We are leaning on resilience strategies and ripple effect of what we are doing, that touching one, we are using this multiplying effect on the society. We are trying by using this methodology and program to prevent the intergenerational trauma and the possibilities of even new wars in the future.
So we also understand that there is a split in the society in Ukraine, and we want to help actually bridge the gap between this different camps, if we may put it this way, like those people who stayed in Ukraine when the war started and those who left, those who speak Russian or those who speak Ukrainian, those who lost their relatives and loved ones and those who didn't, those who lost their homes and work and those who still have. So we understand that we are all in this together and that everyone actually needs healing and we all have a lot of work to do. So as the Psychology Center, we have been working for more than 2 years. We opened in February 2021, and our first year we had like a pretty normal life and work before the war, but then the war started and everything changed. We opened the Crisis Center when the war started, and we were providing free mental health services to people affected and traumatized by the war. This is our poster. You can see, as many people could also see this poster on our social media, and it was shared many times by our followers and friends. And this poster says that this is Crisis Center, and there is free mental health support to anyone affected by the war.
As a crisis center, we conducted about 100 sessions to women, men, parents with children who needed mental health support. We were doing this for free and, of course, with the help of our international founders.
So 100 sessions, this is something that we did only last year, and we will tell you more about what we did already in 2023. And just to share with you like an emotional landscape of Ukrainians now. So what did people in Ukraine lose and what's happening in their minds and hearts now? We work with people and trying to help them cope with psychological trauma, pain, fears, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and many losses which were caused by the war. So what did people lose and keep losing up until now? They lost life, health, and relationships, home and places of living, work, career path and money, personal identity, hope, safe, trust and faith, a sense of future and the desire to live.
Here you can see that's just a tiny piece from our crisis center recordings, because there are huge scale of those Excel sheets. And during those 2 years of ongoing war, 2022 and 23, we conducted over 200 consultations. 100 was in previous year, and even on the beginning of this year, 100 more. This information is safely kept in Excel spreadsheet with respect to confidentiality, and this is our internal recording and reporting system. We use it as the basis for our program design and research on the war trauma and mental health support.
I'm constantly feeling anxious and waiting for something bad to happen. I don't have anything to lean on, to rely upon. Everything has lost its meaning. My child wakes up at night all the time, weeping and screaming. I don't know how to calm him down. I don't want to live in my country because I don't want to leave my country because I have my elderly parents here, but staying is unbearable anymore.
I've lost all my faith. I live like a robot and can't feel anything anymore. I don't have any wishes or goals. I'm not waiting for anything to change. I'm just not sure if I'm still alive. I'm feeling scared in this foreign country, being all alone. It's very hard to adapt to new conditions. I'm scared I won't be able to protect my family. I feel helpless and useless as a man. Mom, I don't like being here. When will we go back home? I miss it so much. But sadly, there is no home anymore. It's been destroyed.
This is what we often hear during our consultations working with Ukrainian people now.
Here is just a key summary of those topics of crisis center consultations we conducted with the team of our psychologists. And those are just words, but underneath those words, there are such a huge tones of emotions, of feelingness, unbearable for each people on the earth. On our consultation, people were talking about their mental state, which includes apathy, restlessness, loss of sense of living, and deep depressive states. They were changing with us their very, very heavy and often unbearable feelings as anxiety and fears, everyday fears of death, of war, loss of relatives and beloved ones, this feeling loneliness and guilty and anger and rage that is tearing everybody of Ukrainian alive every day apart. Our Ukrainian people are facing problems in relationships such as crises, divorces, abuses, violences, loss of their men, husbands, fathers, and providers. They are unable to maintain relations over distance, over disability of relatives. Many Ukrainians have addictions, alcohol and other substances due to the constant stress. Our people are facing problems with children such as insomnia, difficult adaptation of children in a new country, bullying at school, rage and depression and health issues. Also, we are struggling with financial difficulties, loss of work and business, no income, inability to work and earn money due to trauma, and being constantly on the move. Ukrainians sharing with us their stories about loss of home, whether it's a physical loss or refugee status, loss of this feeling of safety ever. And all the Ukrainians now are fearing of the future, life without plans and hopes, loss of meaning and faith in something good.
So right now, everyone has his and her pain, men, women, children, teenagers, and our work in the crisis center, yes, predominantly we were seeing women, but we also were working with children and teenagers. And one of the biggest problems they have on top of the war trauma that they are witnessing is actually they are struggling to study now because they have to study under very weird and unusual and dramatic conditions. Our children now are studying in the bomb shelters, in the subway. In winter, there was no heating, so it was quite cold. Sometimes they had to study in the dark just with the candles. And those children who managed to live with their mothers and are in a new country, they do have difficulties with adaptation in this new country, a new environment. Men don't often come to our center, but when they do, they were sharing their deep pain about feeling helpless because they are afraid that they would not be able to protect their families and their loved ones. Some of them lost their jobs. They feel extremely unwell because they cannot provide for the family. Some of them are going through divorce or have personal crisis and depressive states. And what women are facing, we covered quite a little bit in the previous slide, and maybe worth mentioning that because of the war, men are not allowed to leave Ukraine. They have to join the army or be ready to serve in the army. And a lot of men were already killed and unfortunately will be killed or injured in the future. So it's a big tragedy for us as a nation because, again, we're losing a lot of great people, a lot of great men.
We are losing the best of our ones, and those are on the screen are now just the figures, but underneath every cipher, every number, there is an individual fate. And till that moment, even just civilians were killed, more than 8,000 of adults and 487 children. Soldiers dead, 10,000, 13,000, and even those are facts that are revealed. So many facts are hidden because of many territories are still occupied, and we don't know what is the situation right now there is going on. Just imagine more than 7 million people of our country is displaced person. They were forcibly moved outside the Ukraine. And this is a 1/4 of the whole Ukraine, because before the war, the population of Ukraine was something around 40 million peoples. Just imagine this amount of 150,000 residential buildings were destroyed. So many people were left without just basic needs, just without the roof under their heads.
And you can also see the numbers of refugees. It's actually more than 8 million people. So you can imagine what the scale of the tragedies. And United Nations, they say that this is actually the biggest refugee crisis, what's happening now in Ukraine since World War II. Here, you can see an image of Mariupol theater that was bombed by the Russians when they were children, women, elderly, hiding from the missile attacks. And you can see actually the word written underneath. It says "дети," means children. So And this is one of the cities actually where we don't have any statistics because it's now under the occupation of Russia, but some estimates, some rough estimates are that maybe about 20,000 people get killed only in this one city.
So Ukraine has become a place of impossible, unthinkable news that people cannot see and process. Every day we are knowing about again new and new facts about mass deaths and tortures. Every day we and our colleagues are reading in Facebook news feed about deaths of the people who are the acquaintance of one of whom we know. We are reading and knowing and feeling all the disasters of violence and war atrocities. There are constant crimes against women and children on our territories. So those all are the crimes about humanity. What is going on? The second year of the war, this is a genocide.
When the war started, everything changed for everyone. And where people were hiding during the missile attacks, because missile attacks, they were also happening across the whole country. There was no place to hide. They were everywhere. They were targeting every region, west, east, central, north. So basically the main place to hide for Ukrainians became subway stations. And this is one of the stations that is very close to my home. And some people would stay in the subway actually for weeks because they were afraid to go out. And I was in Kyiv when the war started. I was there for the first 4 months of the war. So this is how people were living, and everyone got scared. Everyone was scared, and people just took their suitcases, their dogs, cats, pets, parrots, and yeah, the life was moved to a subway station. It was the only place to hide from the bombs, but subway stations are available only in big cities in Ukraine, in Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Donetsk. That's it.
All our people has transformed in this, like, river flow of those who are running, who are escaping from the war. They were trying to get into the evacuation trains, and it was a disaster even to get into the train because the number of the people was much more than those trains can complete. Also, even my mom was running from the city named Dnipro with her son and with a tiny 2-kilogram Yorkshire Terrier. She was in the same river flow of the people. She was stuck, and it was a disaster to get into train in the attempt to save her life and the life of her beloved ones.
I cannot write, I cannot speak. These are the words of the journalist. And you could see, you could get a glimpse a little bit of the environment, of the situation that was in Ukraine. And we want to share with you a couple of stories of our clients. So this journalist, she said, I cannot write, I cannot speak. I'm a professional journalist. I was writing and speaking my whole life, but my brain got paralyzed because of the war, because of what I've seen and experienced. So this woman lost her cognitive abilities and professional skills, and she needed psychological help to get back on track.
One of our psychologists of our crisis center worked with a young woman who was married to a brave man. Her husband is a soldier. He was in the war zone and returned home paralyzed with a loss of limbs. She got depressed. He started drinking. They stopped talking. He didn't want to go to the hospital to have artificial legs. After seeing our psychologist and receiving help, they at least started to talk again. They started to cook together, conducting just everyday simple life. And one day the husband said he would go to the hospital.
There was another young woman from Odessa with 2 children, and they were in Odessa where there were missile attacks on the city. So they heard and they saw the explosions. They got scared, children got scared, and they decided to leave. But even when they got to a safe place, the child got so scared that it would refuse to go out. It was just staying at home all the time. The mother had auditory hallucinations, and she had panic attacks. And our psychologist was helping her to work through the trauma that they've experienced, and helping actually them as a family again to somehow come back to normal life. And we are very happy that the woman started feeling better and the child started going out.
Here are some words of appreciation from people for the work of our psychologist in the Crisis Center of the Soul. Even when the people are going through the hard times and those hard times are ending, they found the safe place to be, still they feel those consequences of all those disasters they have seen. And even when they are living in the good conditions, those images of war and atrocities are still in their minds, and they are suffering the same feelings, the same that they were going through on those war period.
So for us, these are not just letters, these are not just numbers and cases, these are real stories and people's lives that we touch. This is the reason for us why we get up in the morning.
Yes, and this reason of getting up every morning was not just on those individual levels, but we were trying to reach as many people as we can. So we created not only those individual sessions conducted in 2022, but we started those groups, psychologically therapy, ones of group therapy, to make a bigger impact and create a healing space for larger community. As we know that the stories that they are discovered together, they can create this healing community for everyone. And in autumn 2022, we launched a series of psychological support groups called Meetings with the Soul. Every Saturday at 11 a.m., people could join us online via Zoom for a free group therapy session. They can share their painful feelings with each other, take some important decisions, even through our talkative sessions. And they have received support from each other and from our psychologists.
So last year we conducted 12 group sessions. Every Saturday, people knew that at 11 o'clock they could join us online. So these meetings were called Meetings with the Soul, and you can see here some of our participants, and it was really a very healing and nurturing space for many people who joined us. And you may also see that these meetings had a Ukrainian flavor. We were sharing some stories, what we cook, where we go, what we experience. We also had some moments to cry about, but we also tried to keep these meetings as not like positive, but we were also trying to find something that unites us all. Like for instance, borscht, that we all love borscht and we all cook borscht no matter where we go and where we live.
We were trying to keep these optimistic feelings, but for example, you can see on this right bottom corner the lady named Anna Kalinichenko. Right when this session, group therapy, was conducted, she was situated in Dnipro. And at the beginning of the group, she warned us that the air alert has started and she heard the sounds of bombings. And maybe she will suddenly vanish from our screenshots. Maybe it would be because of those accidental switches of electricity, but maybe it would be on another more serious occasion. but still we were trying to keep this hope and belief in life and our forces of being alive.
So here are some testimonials from our participants of the Saturday group sessions called Meetings with the Soul. So for us to hear from people that this space was really healing for them and was important, it gives us a lot of energy and motivation. And in January 2023, we were actually very delighted that we could revive our work of the Crisis Center even on a larger scale. So we have expanded our team, and we had +5 more mental health practitioners who were able to conduct one-on-one sessions and also run group workshops. And these new psychologists, they were from some key Ukrainian cities like Bucha and Irpin, where a lot of disasters took place and a lot of people needed healing. And there were also psychologists from Spain, from Germany and France, and they moved there because of the war. And in these countries, there are many, many Ukrainian refugees. So it was really for us a blessing to have them with us, because they could do some work for Ukrainians in Ukraine and Ukrainians in other countries where they are now being displaced. So only in this year, in 3 months, with our new expanded team, we conducted 100 sessions.
Here you can see also those alive group working with different people, whether in Ukraine and outside Ukraine. In Ukraine, it was conducted in Bucha, the groups of art therapy, and in the Lviv, the city of Western Ukraine, our psychologist conducted the group how to go out from depressive states and overwhelming feelings for the young women who was displaced, who was forcibly displaced from their homes. Also, we have conducted groups worldwide with children in Germany and in Spain, and the day was dedicated also to difficult emotions, how to overcome them, and we shared the techniques, how to self-cope with what is happening with us.
Oh, these are just slides showing how these groups were like advertised on social media, so people could register online and also share the invitation with their colleagues, relatives, and friends.
Those are some pieces of our work for other people, for communities, whether inside of Ukraine and outside.
So we've been working for 2 years, and we started dreaming actually last year about having our NGO. Frankly speaking, it's been quite a journey for us, because due to the war, many government institutions didn't work, and we had many challenges in registering our NGO. But in February 2023, we officially received our registration documents. So now we have our organization registered, and it's called Ukrainian Psychology Center, The Soul. We also bought a domain name, you can see it here, and started working on our website. So please visit our website, and we will be sharing there our news and updates about our work.
Our core team of Ukrainian Psychology Center, The Soul, consists of 4 main psychologists and the leading manager who helps us to create all those events that you could see. We all share the spirit of creativity, professionalism, common values, passion for psychology, and love for people and Ukraine. And we do believe that all big changes start from the very individual soul of each one of us. That's why we do what we do. Before the war started, we were conducting many alive events, individual sessions in cozy spaces. And those are the moments that we are standing on still through these devastating times that become after. And we are sharing with you those peaceful moments of our lives, practicing psychology living that we are still standing upon.
So when the war started, everything changed, definitely. We started having very different problems. We started asking ourselves different questions. We started having very different needs, priorities, and the whole perception of meaning of life, frankly speaking, changed. Everyone in our team was also deeply affected by the war. And but as Alexandra was saying, because before the war, we already shared many joyful and happy and creative moments together. And this is something that kept us going. So when the war started, we as a team decided that we would stay together for as long as we can, and that we would continue doing our work for as long as we can, no matter what.
But it was a really challenge to continue to keep on going on, because every one of us was facing the true challenge. For example, this is the video of my own first night of the war in my own house in Bucha. The whole night was spent in basement with other neighbors. It was sleeplessness, of course, and you cannot hear those sounds of bombs lullaby around my house in Bucha. Those are some pieces of photos I've taken on my last days in my own house. It's the key of the apartment, the children that were trying to hide under the cover, not to feel this huge fear of what is going on. That is the last photograph I've taken in the bathroom of my own apartment in the house that would be bombed sometime later. And then when I was already on my way outside Ukraine, you can see that the house was heated by the missile attack. It was a fire. And two of our neighbors on the same floor as we were living were dead. They become those one of the millions of the victim of the Russian invasion in our country. Fortunately, I was really guided by faith, by upper forces to go out from the Bucha, because many people, as you know, were buried on this land. Then we found with me, my daughter, my mom, and other members of the family, the shelter in Brussels, Belgium, and really my rescue and my healing resources was in the going on in working in our center, the soul. And also I was volunteering in the center where children, Ukrainian refugees, also were trying to recover from those overwhelming events they faced in Ukraine. And also we created with our international colleagues the masterclass where we've shown those methods and instruments I've used to help the children and grown-ups to try to recover from war evidences they faced.
So in our team, everyone has a story, and this is how my story happened just on the second day of the war. So basically, this is a missile attack on the building, which is just across the street from my apartment. I can see it from the window. I watched this video over and over again when it happened, trying to make sense of it and to actually understand what's going on and is it really possible. that something like that can happen in the 21st century. So, but we didn't have a lot of time, for thinking, frankly speaking, because we understood that it is real. The war was very real. So my whole life got eventually packed in one backpack because you cannot run with the suitcase. You need to be very mobile. And here you can see the building after the attack. And I stayed in Ukraine for the first 4 months. And then I decided to leave the country. So in the last 9 months, I've moved about 10 times, slept in many places and in many homes, and many people were helping me. So I've been moving mostly in the Asia region, between Singapore, Japan, and Malaysia. My family is in Ukraine, my brother is in the army, my mother is a medical doctor. And I just decided to do what I can do to continue doing my work. So as I was traveling, I was giving lectures, workshops, and seminars, talking about Ukraine, talking about our work of the Psychology Center, the Soul, and the psychosocial needs of people who are affected by the war.
Here is another exceptional story of our Inna, our administrative leader of our project. She was living in Bucha when war started, and they appeared under occupation. And after a while, they make a decision to run from the already occupied city, and they were forced to run to their evacuation buses and cars. And that is the true photo that Inna shooted while they were running. And they've seen those dead people around, and her 8 years old daughter Katya was asking her, are they dead, those people? And Inna needed to answer yes, that they were dead. And you can only imagine what is going on in the psyche of the so small children. And even when we are going out from those places that everything was happening, we are still intoxicated with those images, with those memories, and we still are keeping them inside. And we will need days and days and maybe years to transform and overcome those inner memories and images that we've impacted in ourselves. Those that we are doing by ourselves, and this is what we are doing with other people who are addressing to our center, asking for help to overcome everything that was happening to them and that is still is going on in our country.
So knowing that Alexandra is from Bucha and that Inna is from Bucha, and after that massacre that took place in Bucha, I felt so that we were so blessed, actually, in a way that our whole team survived. So we are from Ukraine, and we have experienced the war ourselves. And our clients, the people that we serve, they're also from Ukraine. That's why we understand the real situation, the real needs of the people. And on this map, you can see actually the numbers of Ukrainian refugees scattered all over the world. And the program that we are working on now, that we want to launch hopefully in June, July, will be an online program, because we understand that with online platforms, this program will be able to reach and to help so many people who are now outside the country.
We are using those online tools, trying to use them to reach as many people as possible, as was shown on the previous photo. Those are the photographs of some of our meetings where we are developing this program with our team. We are making those models, the parts of the program, We are testing it in small groups, on workshops. We are applying for the help of the international supervision also. So in the nearest future, we are making all the details of the program, and this program of the post-traumatic growth will touch the main and core problems that our society is having right now. They are the following.
So the programs here, maybe just going back a little bit to the structure. So the program will probably be for about 2 months, and it will consist of 8 or 10 modules. And the main focuses of the program will be on post-traumatic growth, on healing individuals, all the different key aspects of life, and also healing families and healing communities. And so we want to alleviate the suffering of people that are struggling right now. And we also want to create such spaces that will allow to have prolonged effect and impact of this program for people actually many years in the future. And we want to help with this program. We do want to help Ukrainians become even more resilient, and no matter what, still to be able to build a happy country and a happy future.
Those are the pieces of work we are presenting that we already created. They can be changes because they are working like some kind of constructor. So one person or another can just go through one model, or some group of people, even enterprises, companies, or small communities or bigger one, they can go through whole pieces of our models, or they can pick up some of them. So it works like a constructor, and you can use as much as you can, like, digest for the moment. This program will consist of theory and practice, psychological exercises, self-help tools and techniques, transformational experiences, bodywork therapy, and of course community support and group meetings. So all that we've already conducted through our individual sessions, our group meetings, all over this first year of work and the second year of working under the war conditions. We've already started to implement this program. The core message of our program, as you remember, is to care, to implement this Ukrainian architectonics, Ukrainian roots, Ukrainian culture, history, images, archetypes. So here you see the captures of the group that was dedicated to the archetypal image of Mavka. Maybe you've heard about its very famous cartoon right now that is going all over the world, even here in Brussels, in Belgium region, in those cinemas. They are held in Dutch language also, and in Ukrainian. And it shows the Ukrainian feminine at the same time, like, vulnerability, ability to feel and to be compassionate, and the strength, the furious, the capacity to protect yourself and someone whom you are loving.
And people really love this program because it is Ukrainian. It's Ukrainian program for Ukrainians. It is deeply rooted in our history, arts, and culture. And arts and culture always have very gentle yet therapeutic effects. So we are actually very much looking forward to developing this part. So these are some live sessions that Marina and Alexandra had about this Ukrainian part of the program. And just for you to get an understanding how we work, we actually work, we meet on a weekly basis. So even when the war started, we continued our meeting every week. Our admin or management team, Sandra, Inna, and I, we meet actually more often, but we have our regular meetings as a team. We also continue our online live broadcasting sessions that we usually do on Facebook. For instance, this one was dedicated to the anniversary of the war, and we were discussing actually the whole experience of the last year. And we, as psychologists, we also work with dreams. So we were discussing the dreams that people were seeing and how dream journaling and analysis can help people process their emotions and feelings. You can also find us on social media.
I want to mention that in the wartime, our followers in Facebook group was reached from the first line of 300 followers, we reached 3,000 and more followers during the wartime. And this is not the end, of course. So we are now needing the more instrument to globalize our informational field, because we are constantly making those useful content for people, online broadcasting with the free bodywork sessions, with this information about dreams, how to transform negative emotions to the just normal one, at least. So we are doing as much as we can during every day and trying to reach as more people as possible.
And it is really wonderful that we have internet, actually, because with internet and online platforms and tools, we can do so much more. And although our whole team now is scattered all over the world, we can continue doing our work, and we use online tools and platforms for therapeutic purposes. And sometimes really in 1 hour, you can impact hundreds of people who have watched the video. So it is really, for us, when we think about sustainability and how to scale up our work, we definitely understand that internet and online platforms is the way to go. Also, all our psychologists in the core team, we are writing for the leading mass media in Ukraine. It's called New Voice, so you may find our publications there. Alexandra is writing on a regular basis. I'm writing on a regular basis. Marina and Ira as well. And this is actually the slide that
possible.
Yeah.
This of the work, because we really were overwhelmed with what is going on. It wasn't be possible without those people who you are seeing now on your screens. There's the numerous communities that and separate people that were being touched by our stories, by our work, by our willingness to help others, and of course ourselves. And they were doing really huge work to carry us on through all those disastrous times. And thanks to them, we are still able to participate in international conferences, to get these additional resources, knowledges, instruments, tools, then to pass them back to those people who is in strongly need of this right now.
Like here you can see the educational program of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross Foundation, and our whole team went through this program because when the war started, we understood that we have to deal with a lot of grief. So there was an amazing program organized by this foundation. Our whole team went through it. So we learned some additional tools and techniques how actually to do grief and bereavement work. There are also some wonderful people from Singapore who has been helping us in the last year, and so many things became possible actually with them. This is actually, I feel like we can have maybe the separate presentation about the people who have helped us. So there are really so many individuals and some communities who have been supporting us, and it's been so important for us. These people helped us really survive, us physically, and actually helped us survive as a center. So here you may also see Dr. Katie Eastman, who's been working as a therapist with our manager Inna, and it was very important for her and her child. You may see Liz Krutz-Albert, also a member of the advisory board of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross Foundation, and she's been working with me as a therapist and with our team. You may also see here the wonderful community of international people who are also doing some some spiritual work. So many, many thanks to those who supported us and who made our work possible. And we are absolutely and wholeheartedly committed to our work. So we will do our best and everything we can to help Ukrainians take care of their souls and also to flourish.
Actually, those previous captures you've seen is the clear representation of that only as a community, only as being together, only by getting and having this helping hand from other, we can stay be alive. And it's like together we can sue the world that was torn apart by the war, and we wanted to be the happy place, but we need to struggle on it, to fight over it, and to keep on going on. And we can do it only together with your help, then to pass it to other people. And in that way, we are like really suing something that is turning apart.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing our journey with us. So please reach out if you have any questions. You may find us on Facebook, on Instagram. We have our website also now that we hope will be developing. And you may also reach out individually, Alexandra or myself. Here are our contact details. And if you wish to support our work, we appreciate absolutely anything and everything. And with your help, we can also do more for more people in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraini.
Thank you.